Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about two episodes of Arrow, episode 712 titled Confessions, which premiered April 29, 2019, as well as episode 721 titled Living Proof, which premiered May 6, 2019 on CW. So I'm recording roughly a few hours after 721 has aired, so huge spoiler alert if you haven't seen the episodes already. Please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I'm going to try to do this in 20 minutes, so let's start the clock, and let's begin with what happened in these episodes. So for the plot reminder for 720, I'm going to have to say is this episode was pretty much a confession-style murder mystery type of a setup, which was it's an interesting thing that they've done. And then for 721, I'd have to say the plot reminder is pretty much the aftermath of the building explosion that happened at the end of 720. So there's that. Most shocking moment of the episode for 720, it has to be the fact that Team Arrow lied to protect Roy, who ended up being the killer, and Dino was a part of the whole thing. Also, another shocker was the fact that Roy's blood loss is due to the fact that he was thrown into the Lazarus pit because he had died on a mission with Thea and Nyssa to find all the Lazarus pits before the Thanatos Guild. So that was a shock there. Plus, this is also the first time we see Roy in the present day since he left with Thea and Nyssa in last season. So there's that. And 721, the most shocking one of the episode was the fact, well, I guess it was the moment where Diggle was killed right after Oliver killed Emiko, kind of like what he did to her happened to Diggle, but then only to have that revealed that it was all a hallucinated scenario that Oliver was dealing with. So it's still a shocking, I still felt shocked in that moment, even though it's not a reality situation type of thing. So there's that. So moving on to storylines for the episode, pretty much the focus for 721 was the murder mystery style. So the whole episode was pretty much the SCPD questioning Oliver, then Felicity, then Roy, then Diggle, then Renee, and then Oliver again until all their stories overlapped. Until the very end, you find out what the true sequence of events happened, which is where you get the fact that Roy was included in all this in secret. So that's pretty much the focus there. And for 721, we do have 4 different storylines going on. First one, Oliver's mental mayhem. This is where we get the return of Tommy as a hallucination. Second storyline is Team Arrow's search. First, finding each other, and then shutting down the generator to give themselves more time before the building explodes, and then finding Oliver as a team as well. So while they're trying to search for him, he's having his mental encounter with Tommy in his head while he's unconscious. So there's that. Now, outside the explosion is what storyline 3 deals with, and that's where we see an arrest warrant for Felicity after Emiko had leaked the video footage of Roy being the killer, therefore proving that Team Arrow had lied about it and to cover it up. And also we see the Ninth Circle trying to do what they can to frame Team Arrow as the terrorists and kind of keeping the Ninth Circle's name a secret from all of it. So there's that. And the fourth storyline is what happens in the flash forwards. So there's that. So the last scenes of the episode are, for 720, is the fact that Emiko detonates a bomb on Team Arrow, which results in Oliver being pinned down, and that's where 721 picks up. And then the last scene for 721 was Emiko escaping from Oliver with the last piece of the weapon she needed. So there's that. Now, flashbacks, I guess for 720, you can kind of consider it being flashbacks included because it was interrogation style where in present day, all the members were in SCPD custody and they were retelling what had happened that night. And then we get to see it in technical flashback format. So I guess that counts. But there were no flashbacks in 721. But instead, we get the reverse. So in 720, there are no flash forwards. But 721, we do get a flash forward storyline. And that is the fact that we get them trying to plan to shut down the Archer program permanently. But that plan is derailed when William and Mayor Renee are captured by Galaxy 1. And then Galaxy 1 has the location of the vigilante team and warrants their arrest. We also see future Alina being outed as the one who sold Archer to Galaxy 1 after she stole it from Smoke Technologies. Then we also see William still having some animosity with Felicity because he wants answers as to why she and Oliver had left him behind when he was a kid. So there's that. I truly think that William don't think William knows that Oliver tried to contact him shortly after he went away with his grandparents. I think someone has tried to keep the two of them apart, so William is growing up to believe that they abandoned him, while Oliver can never get in touch with William after he left to live with his grandparents. That's what I think, or anyways. Hopefully we'll get some answers about that. But in regards to the Emiko update, or the Ninth Circle update, for 720, I would say that Team Arrow tries to stop Emiko from acquiring a piece for her plan. They are able to succeed in this aspect, but apparently they fail in 721 when Emiko is able to steal that last part back from SCPD while posing as the Green Arrow in her opportunity to kind of frame Oliver for doing it. So there's that. So let's go to tidbits very quickly. For 720, I have that Oliver finds out about Roy's trip with Thea and Nyssa and how they destroyed 2 of the Lazarus pits, but that only led him to dying on the mission, therefore having to use the Lazarus pit, which is kind of why he has the bloodlust thing going on that both Sarah and Thea had to experience in the past. We also have Oliver finding out that Emiko knew about the Queen's Gambit and that she didn't warn Robert when she had the chance. We also find out that Team Arrow finds out that Emiko is the leader of the Ninth Circle and not Dante, like they believed. We also find out that it was explained to Oliver why he didn't call Thea. Instead, he contacted Roy to help him out because he didn't want to tell Thea yet about what happened about Emiko until Emiko was behind bars. So she kind of didn't want to bring her in when Thea was already in a good place at this point. So there's that. Kind of sucks that she wasn't. I would have loved to see like the sisters going at each other. Well, technically they're not sisters, but Oliver's sisters going against each other, but I guess not. For 721, though, the tidbits were the fact that present Alina is the one that gave Felicity the idea to go off the grid to raise her baby. And also to save herself, Felicity tells Emiko that she's pregnant to avoid getting killed by using the innocent child card to not get shot by an arrow. So there's that. Let's move on to top favorite moments, though. For 720, I have that Roy Harper's present day return was a huge thing. I mean, we got him a lot in the flash forwards, but again, that's in the future. I kind of know what happened. I wanted to know what happened with his mission with Thea and like how all that, like we really did get a lot. We found out about his own fall into the Lazarus pit, his own bloodlust happening. We got a little bit of info about Thea, but I did like with Roy Harper's return, we got to see his own trick arrow shots happening, his own parkour skills, the fact that we get the old vibe he has with the original Team Arrow crew. It definitely had me remembering the season 2 vibes that Team Arrow had when it was just Oliver, Felicity, Diggle, and Roy together. So I definitely missed that. So it had me excited to see him with all 4, see him with the 3 of them again. And then also another favorite I had in the episode was just all the different fight scenes. Arrow and their fight scenes is one of the things I'm always most impressed with, because there's no special effects usually, unless it's like a really tricky choreography. But still, the fight scenes are just so cool with Arrow. So there's that. With 721, though, my favorites were, first off, Oliver and Tommy. It was amazing to have Tommy come back. I mean, technically he's been dead since the season 1 finale, but it's just a very interesting way as to how they brought him back. So it was also, I like the fact that Tommy wasn't just in one episode, like one scene. He was in a good chunk of the episode, which I do appreciate. He actually brought a lot of callbacks to the history between him and Oliver and how there were some parallels that he might have faced that Oliver's now facing, or vice versa. So it's very interesting to see more of the type of friendship that they had up until his death, and just to see how it can make an effect on Oliver now. So that was pretty cool there. I don't know if I'm still on the fence about whether or not I would prefer not knowing Tommy was in the episode at all and being surprised when he first appeared, or if I'm okay with knowing it in the previews and then seeing him in the episode. I'm still not sure. I guess that's one way to bring in more viewers, to let them know that, hey, familiar face is coming back to town type of thing. But again, I'll still always love seeing Tommy back for sure. I miss him. So there's that. Another favorite I did have was the moment where Oliver killed Emiko right before it got flipped and he ended up killing Diggle. and then only to find out that was hallucination. That was a little peeve there. But that brief moment when Oliver had killed Emiko and it's like, yes, it's over. He stopped it all. That was a good sigh of relief right there. It's like, yes, you stopped the big threat. And then, like, forget about all the consequences that could have came after that, though. But then to have it turn around to be that you also killed Diggle is like shocker, big shocker right there. But then to also find out, no, it's been an hallucinated scenario. It's like, wow, that went a little too far. It had me, like, tripping out, going, like, what the hell just happened? So there's that. But another favorite I did have for the episode was between William and Mia, specifically when they were talking about Felicity and how they were talking about, like, their different upbringings and how, like, if one wanted answers, you had to go and confront them about it instead of just kind of, like, hoping they'd tell you right sometimes. So it's very interesting to see the siblings kind of getting advice from each other. So there's that. Moving on to top Peeve moments for the episodes. For 720, I pretty much just wrote Emiko. She's been a huge pain in my ass for a while now, so I'll just leave it at that. Another peeve was the fact Dinah was a peeve in the episode. And, like, rightfully so, because the whole time she's interrogating Team Arrow, it just, like, it felt like she had no faith in the team and, like, she was really quick to turn on them. But then when it was, so, like, that's why I was irritated with Dinah the whole episode. But then the moment it was real that she was in on it and she was just playing the part to sell the lie, that's, like, when my irritation of her just kind of, like, fell away. It's like, oh, okay, you're still part of the team, you're still siding with them, and, like, okay, you still have that loyalty there. But, like, the whole time before that reveal, I was so annoyed with Dinah, going, like, dude, don't you know your team members? Don't you trust them? It's like, how could you, like, be so hard on them like this to try to, like, to get them to slip up and everything, right? So it's just like, I'm glad it was real that she was still on their side and it was just a part she had to play as they agreed as a team. But up to that moment, I was just, like, so annoyed with her. Not as annoyed I am with Emiko overall, but, like, you know what I mean. So there's that. But for 721, the big peeve I had was the fact that the end scene where Oliver confronted Emiko on the roof, I can understand why he did not kill her in that moment. But, like, I don't understand why he couldn't have shot one of his trick arrows at her to at least restrain her, so that she couldn't escape. Because if you remember in the season 2 finale, when Oliver has his bow and arrow ready for Slade to kill him, instead he shoots the arrow, but instead of killing him, it ended up being the arrow that unleashes the ropes and it ties him up, right? So I'm thinking on this rooftop, why didn't Oliver do that? So it's like, instead you just are there unarmed, hoping to talk things out with her when you're in an open space, you know she's trying to escape, and she's just buying her time until she does. So I don't get why he couldn't just shoot one of his trick arrows to kind of, like, tie her down and, like, not go anywhere, right? So that was a huge peeve there, because I feel like that could have saved so much issues that are now formed because she escaped. So that's an issue there. And also another issue was the fact that the bunker security for the Arrow Cave, or whatever you want to call it, is a complete joke now. The fact that Emiko crashed in there once again, it's like, really? First off, you had Malcolm Merlin crashing in. Second off, you had Prometheus. You had Ricardo Diaz. It's like, have you not upped security at all after every one of those attacks? It's just like, it's like you might as well just move locations, since so many of your bad guys seem to know where you're housed, right? So just, like, it's getting pretty ridiculous now. I feel like the layer underneath the nightclub was more secure than this. Like, that's what it's feeling like right now. So there's that. But let's move on to random questions very quickly. I didn't write any for 720, but for 721, I did have, first one being, why would the sergeant, the SCPD sergeant, I think that's who he was, why would he believe that the Green Arrow was attacking the SCPD? Why would he believe that that's Oliver when Oliver doesn't wear a mask anymore when he's dressed up as the Green Arrow? I mean, why would he suddenly start wearing the mask to attack this SCPD when everybody already knows that he is the Green Arrow? So I don't get why the sergeant would, because, like, when Oliver comes and finds him being injured, he's like, what happened? And then the sergeant's like, I thought it was you. Or, like, we thought it was you. It's like, you're an idiot. It's like, you know Oliver is outed as the Green Arrow, so there's really no reason for him to wear a mask. And yet you're attacked by a Green Arrow with the mask. So it's like, how could you think that that's still Oliver when easily wearing the getup pretty much identifies him as the Green Arrow? I mean, I can understand if it's Oliver in SWAT gear and his face is completely covered and you don't know that it's Oliver, right? But it's just like, I don't know. It's like, that was such a stupid line. I was like, dude, come on. It's like, if you already know that Oliver doesn't wear a mask and yet he's known for his Green Arrow suit, why would he suddenly attack you when wearing a mask, when wearing the same suit is going to be redundant in keeping his identity? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it made no common sense. And I should make that as my other peeve, but it's still a question as well. But that is a major peeve too. So there's that. Another question. Did anyone else expect more injuries to have happened on Team Arrow after that building explosion thing collapsed on them? Like, instead they were all like pressed under concrete, and then they were like have scars and stuff, and maybe like aching bones and stuff. But like, I was expecting one of them to have a broken leg or have a broken arm. I mean, Oliver at most is the one who had the dislocated shoulder, or I'm assuming he did, but a hallucinated version of him did. Roy was the only one who really had like any like injuries, but that was after he went into that gas fog thing. So it's like everyone else was just walking fine, they were breathing fine, they just had cuts and bruises. And I was expecting more injuries from that type of a catastrophe thing. So there's that. Also, with that said, another question was, will Roy suffer permanent damage because he went into that gas fog thing? I think it was benzene gas or something. So, I mean, what, 10 seconds? If he breathes it in, then that's when the damage starts. But like 10 seconds was all it would take. So I'm assuming he held his breath for that long or something. Like, I don't know. But would he suffer from permanent damage from it? So that's a question there. And also, here's another question that I just realized it's pertaining to the flash forwards, but because of the whole time travel thing, is everything that's happening in 2040 right now, is that a set future for our characters, or is this a potential future for our characters? Because as you know, we have seen Star City in the future before with Legends back in episode 106. So, and that future doesn't exist anymore because, well, first off, Oliver's an older man there. He's not with Felicity, and John Jago Jr. ends up being Connor Hawke. In this 2040 version of the future, that's all different. So I'm wondering, is this a concrete version of 2040, or is this only a potential future based off of where our characters are heading in 2019? So, because I'm wondering for just happenstance, what if Oliver does survive the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths thing? Then is it possible that could shift what has already meant to happen in 2040? Or does he die a different way and he's not in the future or something? It's like, is it a concrete thing that we're seeing in 2040? And what we learned there is official for the official fate for our characters in 2019? Or is it only a potential path our characters could head into if they continue where they're going now? Sorry if that's confusing, but that is pretty much it for there. But let's move on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for the episode of 7/22, it is the season finale. We see Oliver facing off against Emiko. So a bunch of fight scenes show up as well. It's very fast motion. I do hear a canary cry once again, but I don't know if that is Dinah using the device or if that is Laurel coming back as either Black Siren or Black Canary. I do not know. Or if that's even the future version of her, maybe. But I guess we'll have to wait and see about that. But the synopsis for the finale reads, the battle between Oliver and Emiko comes to a boiling point, which brings back some familiar faces and leaves others in dire jeopardy. I hope this is the end of us seeing Emiko. I really do not want to see her in the final episodes of season 8, at all. As for familiar faces, that could either contend to the flash forwards or it could be the present day. So it'll be interesting to see which way it will go. Plus, I'm a little worried because this is also the last episode we'll see Emily Bett Rickards as Felicity as a series regular. So I'm a little worried about how they're going to kind of send her off, if you will. Well, I mean, I know she survives 2019, but that doesn't mean she's going to survive 2040. I feel like that's her plan B there in order to end Archer. But anyways, that is pretty much it, guys. What did you guys think of the 2 episodes? What did you guys like about it? What do you think will happen in the finale? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about all that stuff. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all in one place. Go check that out. Also, WordPress account, link for that is down below. Not reblog. Anything I post online is connected through WordPress accounts. A little more organized, a little more detailed, but still a work in progress as well. If you want to check both those websites out, please be aware that they're still work in progresses, but I do appreciate giving your time to check those out. Otherwise, that is pretty much it, guys. That was the timer, so I am done. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I do hope you come back to see what I have to say about the finale. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.